Hey everybody, welcome to Watch Your Lip. Guys, today we are going to make a slider rig for beach fishing. This is a rig that I use for permit, for tarpon, snook. It's a very common rig used on the beach, and depending on what you're fishing for and what your bait is, will determine what size hook and leader material you're using. Basically what we're going to use today, we're going to be making a slider rig for permit fishing for crabs. We're going to use crabs for bait. We're going to use an Owner Mutu Light offset circle hook, size 5.0. Actually, let me grab a 5.0 Owner offset Mutu Light circle hook. We are going to need some 40-pound test fluorocarbon leader. I'm going to need a swivel. I'm going to need a bead. And I'm going to need a slider clip, which I'll show you why we do that in a minute. So let's get started. First things first, guys, how long of a leader do you use? Well, for permit fishing, you don't need too long of a leader. So we're probably gonna use about 4 feet. That's more than enough. Cut the 40-pound test leader. And then we will get our hook, and we're gonna tie what I call the watch your lip knot. And I don't. It's one I've used it since I was a teenager. If you've seen my other knot videos, you've probably seen me tie it. This knot works with any size pound test, all the way up to rope. I've used it for rope. It makes a good, like a noose knot, like a slider knot, which you can tighten down. So I've never broken one. With fluorocarbon, I've had them slip through, so I wrap it 3 times instead of 2. But let's get to the knot. So I put it through the eye of my hook. Leave yourself a pretty decent sized tag, at least 6 inches. Take your tag end, go underneath your line, your leader, till it makes a little X right there. Take your finger, put it on top of the X and hold it. Okay. Then what I'm going to do with my tag end is I'm going to make 2 loops over my finger under the line. 1, 2. Actually, I'm going to do 3 because it's fluorocarbon. Sometimes it's been known to slip. So I'll make 3 loops. And then I'm going to take my tag and then I'm going to run it through these 3 loops that I just created. Okay? I'm going to run it through. Very good. Now, I'm going to grab my tag and my line, and I'm gonna pull it tight. Let me give it a little lubrication. Pull it tight and clinch it down. And boy, that sucker ain't going nowhere. I love this knot. It's so easy to tie. I can tie it blindfolded in my sleep. Cut my tag as close as you want to that hook. You're just fine. So then basically what I'm gonna do, I'm going to take the other end of my leader, do the same exact thing with my swivel, and tie the same knot onto my swivel. So through, around, let me get a little bit more. I'm going to go around once, twice, 3 times later. Oh, never mind. And then I'm going to go through the triple loops. I'm going to grab my tag. I didn't leave myself much on a tag end there. Grab my tag, lubricate, and clench it down. Cut my tag end off. Bada bing. All right, so now my leader is complete. I've got my hook, got about 3.5 feet of 40-pound fluorocarbon leader. Now, I've got this is the line from my rod. I'm going to show you what rod and reel I'm using in a minute. But I've got 30-pound test, I've got 30-pound test monofilament coming off my rod here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put a slider rig on, a slider clip. You can get these, you can order them online. You can get them at most bait and tackle shops that have surf fishing stuff. You put this on first, and what you're going to want to do is you clip your weight onto here. Okay, then you get a bead and you put your bead on your line. Then you take your line and attach it to your swivel with the watch your lip knot. Hopefully if somebody knows what kind of knot that's called, if it has a name, just let me know. I'll change it. This one's lighter, so I'm just going to go around twice. I'm going to go through. Yeah, the monofilament doesn't slip at all. So I'm going to tighten that down. Bingo. Okay. Cut my tag end. Okay, now it's time to talk about weights. So we have our hook, and we'll hook our bait. We've got other videos that show you how to do that. Got our leader. Comes down to our, comes down to our swivel. Okay, the purpose for the bead is twofold. The bead protects the knot from the weight clanking down. And, you know, with lighter line, you have to worry a little bit more about that. But it also protects this from going over the top of your swivel. I like to use big swivels because I don't like to have swivels break on me when big fish hit. So it's not as much of a problem for me. But sometimes this thing can go just right over the top of your swivel, and that's super annoying. So I like to have a bead there. And then what we do is we use either a pyramid weight or Sputnik weight. The Sputnik weights we use when there's rougher waters, if they've got a strong current, if you've got weeds going, then we'll use a Sputnik weight, and we'll basically just clip the Sputnik weight onto here and close your snap, and you're ready to fish. Now, if it's really calm today, I'm actually going to go permit fishing later this afternoon. There's no current and there's no wind, there's no weeds. So the Sputnik weights are really expensive. So sometimes you lose your weights, you break a rig or whatever, and the pyramids are much cheaper. So I'll use a pyramid if it's not super rough, and I'll just clip that on. And so basically the purpose for the slider rig is when the fish hits, number one, especially if you're fishing in free spool, let's say the fish takes the bait, right? Fish takes the bait, the line can pass right through that weight, and the fish feels no tension whatsoever. See, that's just passing right through. The weight stays on the ground, the fish is running, and no tension whatsoever. The fish doesn't spit the hook. That's helpful when you're tarpon fishing or snook fishing or something like that. Also, now I fish with permit. I fish this in gear, so the permit takes it and it immediately hooks itself. So it's not as big of a deal with that. But also, when you're fighting the fish, this line is going to be real tight like this, and the weight can ride up the line and it bounces like this. And I just don't like that because it's putting weird pressure on the knot. So what we can do is, while we're fighting the fish, we can go on and just unsnap this. And we can unsnap it and then continue to fight the fish. Also, I don't put these weights on until I get down to the beach, because as I store my reel or store my line, I'll show you how I do that here. See. Okay, what I'll do is I'll wrap, when I'm storing my rig, I'll wrap it around the underside of my reel, and then I'll take this hook, come up to one of my guides and put it on the underside of my guide, and then I'll just reel it tight like this. And then that way I'll store my rig like that, and the weight's not attached, it's not clinking around, it's not scratching up my rod. And then I bring a container full of these weights and I just attach them later. So this rig is ready to go, guys. I hope you liked the video. This is our slider rig. We use it for live bait fishing with pilchards or any other type of live bait. We use it for if you're fishing dead bait or squid, and of course crabs for permit. We've got all different weights that we need. The Sputniks are pretty cool looking, but they're a little annoying too. But guys, give me a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe. This is our pretty much our go-to rig that we tie for just about everything. So thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, watch your lip.